Good morning, students. In previous class, we already discussed about forms of water. So here, three types of forms of water are there. The first one is solid form, second one is liquid form, the third one is gaseous form. Okay, now students, three types of forms of water. So the first one is, I said already, solid form, second one liquid form, the third one is gaseous form, students. Okay, now students, already we have discussed solid. Example, like a duster, it is a solid. When you take a piece of chalk, it is also a solid. When you can take ice cube, that is solid. And liquid like water, kerosene, diesel, so many are there. And gaseous form, hydrogen gas, oxygen, these all are gaseous type. So already we discussed. Whenever you supply a heat to the ice, so it should be converted into water. So when it is continuously supply a heat to the water, it should be start to the water vaporization. Water vaporization. Yes or no? Already we have seen this information. Yes or no, students? Next, already we discussed evaporation. Evaporation, students. So what is the definition of evaporation, students? Evaporation, the process of water changing into water vapor. The process of water changing into water vapor. Water vapor is called evaporation. Evaporation, the process of water changing into water vapor, is known as evaporation, students. Okay, now students. Now next, but you know already, evaporation is a natural process, but which takes place on the earth. It takes place on the earth. But water vapor evaporates continuously. Water evaporates continuously from the surface of the water bodies like seas, canals, oceans, rivers, ponds. But these are changing into water vapor. Because of due to the supply a heat to the sunlight. It means whatever the rays are coming from the sun, it should be falling on the surface of the water. So then it absorbed heat to the water and it should be started evaporates. Yes sir, no, students? Like this we have discussed. Now today the new topic I'll tell you, that is condensation, students. What is that, students? Condensation. Okay, now students, have you seen definition of evaporation, students? I written already. Okay, now? Now condensation. condensation, students. Okay, na? But what is the definition of condensation? But this definition is reverse to the evaporation. But evaporation, the process of water changing into water vapor. But here, the process of conversion of water vapor into water. The process of conversion of water vapor into water is called condensation. Okay, now students, here you see what is the definition of condensation, students. The process of conversion of water vapor into water. Water vapor into water. But before in the definition, water is converting into water vapor in evaporation. But here, students, water vapor is converting into water. Is known as condensation, students. But this process we have so many times experienced. Already we have seen whenever the weather is cool in winter season, it means in early morning, when we speak some words of our mouth, the smoke will be coming out of the mouth. Because of whatever the smoke is coming from our mouth, that is, it should be very warm. But this warm of smoke is interacting to the outside of the weather, that is cool. This warm and cool both should be mixed, isn't it? Should be mixed. It present in the air, coming out of our mouth gets cold. It is very cold suddenly to form very tiny droplets. Because of outside of the weather is cold, but whatever the smoke is coming from our mouth, that is very warm off. But both should be mixed and it should be formed tiny droplets. But these tiny droplets concentrated in a limited area. It is occupied some space in the atmosphere. And it should be appears like smoke or a small cloud. Smoke, poga anedi form aitadi. Small cloud ga form aitadi, students. Our mouth, it should be very nearer the mouth. Already given diagram, students. Once you have to look at, you see. Here one of the boys is released some smoke out of coming out his mouth. Yes, sir, students. It should be very small, tiny droplets are formed very near the mouth. Okay, now students? And we observed during the mornings in winter, some fog is formed. Some fog fog is nothing but dattamaina pogalu form aithayi students. In early morning you can see in a winter season we can't see some houses, but they are very nearer to us because of due to the fog is formed between that. Yes or no? So whenever you can move in that fog, some tiny droplets are, it should be touched your surface of your body. మన బాడీకి తగులుతుంది. తగిలికి ఏమవుతుంది, పచ్చి పచ్చి తడిసినలా అనిపిస్తుంది, తడిసినట్టు అనిపిస్తుంది. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో స్టూడెంట్స్? And if you can see on the grass, so many tiny droplets are formed on the grass. గడ్డి పైన ఫామ్ అవుతాయి. మనం అనుకుంటాం వర్షం పడిందేమో అనుకుంటాం, కానీ వర్షం పడుతుందా స్టూడెంట్స్? పడది. బట్ tiny droplets are, it should be formed on the grass due to the fog. Because of due to the temperature is very less in the winter season. Yes or no? Number of tiny droplets are formed on the surface of the grass. ఆ గడ్డి పైన అనేది ఫామ్ అవుతుంది స్టూడెంట్స్. ఓకేనా స్టూడెంట్స్? అండ్ ఈవెన్ యూ కెన్ సీ ఇన్ ఏ లీవ్స్ ఆఫ్ ప్లాంట్స్ ఆల్సో. ఆ యొక్క మొక్కల పైన, ఆకుల పైన కూడా చిన్న చిన్న డ్రాప్స్ అనేటివి వర్షం చుక్కలా కనబడతాయి, మనకి డ్రాప్లెట్స్ అనేటివి కనబడతాయి. ఓకేనా స్టూడెంట్స్? Now, here is given one activity students, condensation. Shall I rub the students? Now next activity 1. But what is that activity here, students? So, first of all, here you take a glass and pour some water in a glass. Water, and take some ice cubes in that water. So, what we have do students here? First, take some water in a glass and add some pieces of ice in that glass. But observe few minutes. Observe few minutes. But what changes do you observe on outer surface of the glass? What changes do you observe on the outer surface of the glass, students? But we can observe, students, formation of small drops of water. Formation of small drops of water, like water droplets. Water droplets we observed on surface of the glass, student. Okay na students? I think you can do this experiment in your house also. It is easily to you. And But why are these drops formed? Why are these drops formed in outer surface area of the glass, students? Okay, next. Because of air around us. Yes, sir. Air around the glass contain water vapor. Air around the glass, isn't it? Air around the glass contain water vapors. So which is warmer than the surface of the glass? Which is warmer than the surface of the glass? Yes, sir, students. చాలా వెచ్చగా ఉంటుంది అన్నట్టు. So because of due to the cold glass, air close to its surface, air close to its surface, air అనేది మొత్తం క్లోజ్ అయి ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి బయట ఒక 10 droplets are should be very warm compared to inside of the surface of the water, students. Okay, now students, here the next topic is, students, clouds and rain. Clouds and rain, students. So the next topic is, students, clouds and rain. Clouds and rain, students. So clouds and rain. So whenever you can see the sun, but we are getting some sun rays from the sun, but whatever the sun rays are coming from the sun, it should be falling on the surface of the earth. But due to the temperature is high, so we can see if you touch the surface of the earth, it should be very hot. Because of it should be absorbed by the temperature or by absorbed the heat to the earth, isn't it, students? And but the sun rays are also, it should be falling on the sea or ponds or rivers. So what will happening, students? The water is evaporation. It should be started whenever the heat is absorbed by the water. Yes or no? So that when evaporates of the water, it should be go to the up side and it should be converting into water vapor. Water vapor by the process of evaporation, student. By the process of evaporation. But this water vapor rises up into the atmosphere. ఏమైపోతుంది స్టూడెంట్స్? ఆ వాటర్ వేపర్ అనేది ఏమైపోతుంది? అట్మాస్ఫియర్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది అన్నట్టు. వెళ్ళిపోయి బట్ ఇట్ షుడ్ బి మూవ్స్ అవే ఫ్రమ్ ది సర్ఫేస్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎర్త్. అవునా కదా? ఆ వాటర్ వేపర్ అనేది ఆ యొక్క సర్ఫేస్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎర్త్ నుండి పైకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది అన్నట్టు. వెళ్ళిపోయినప్పుడు అవుతుంది అక్కడ ఉన్న ఎయిర్ అనేది, ఈ యొక్క సర్ఫేస్ ఆఫ్ ఎర్త్ లో ఉన్న ఎయిర్ అనేది బికమ్స్ కూలర్. ఏమైపోతుంది? అక్కడ వెదర్ అనేది ఏమైపోతుంది? చాలా కూల్ అయిపోతుంది అన్నట్టు. ఎప్పుడైతే ఆ వాటర్ వేపర్ అనేది ఎయిర్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోయినప్పుడు అప్పుడు అక్కడ ఏమైపోతుంది? ఇట్ షుడ్ బి వెరీ కూల్. సో వెన్ వాటర్ వేపర్ రీచెస్ higher levels, when water vapor reaches higher level, ఇంకా పైకి వెళ్ళినా కొద్ది it condenses due to the contact with cool air. ఏమైపోతుంది? ఆ యొక్క కూల్ ఎయిర్ అనేది ఇంకా ఫామ్ అయిపోతుంది అన్నట్టు స్టూడెంట్స్. పైకి వెళ్ళినా కొద్ది ఇంకా వెదర్ అనేది చాలా కూల్ అయిపోతుంది. అండ్ ఫార్మ్స్ Okay, na? And forms small drops or water droplets students. So these tiny droplets remains floating in air. ఆ tiny droplets అనేది ఏమైపోతాయి స్టూడెంట్స్? ఇక ఇన్ ఫ్లోటింగ్ ఇన్ ఎయిర్ లో మూవ్ అవుతూ ఉంటాయి స్టూడెంట్స్ ఎట్ హయ్యర్ లెవెల్స్ ఆఫ్ ది అట్మాస్ఫియర్ అండ్ అపియర్ యాజ్ క్లౌడ్స్. అవే మనకి క్లౌడ్స్ అనేటి కనబడతాయి స్టూడెంట్స్. ఏమైపోతుంది అంటే స్టూడెంట్స్ అది రివర్లో కానీ ఈ యొక్క పాండ్స్లో కానీ వాటర్ ఉంటాయి. ఆ వాటర్ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఏమైపోతాయి స్టూడెంట్స్? ఇయర్ ద టెంపరేచర్ ఈస్ అబ్జార్బ్డ్ that water, and whenever the temperature is absorbed by the water, it should be started evaporation process. It means the water vapors into the air. Whenever it should be into the air, it should be very cold because of it is mixed with the air. Then automatically at that place it should be very cold. Whenever it should be reaches to high level and the condensation process, it should be started at peak level. It should be higher level. Whenever it is going into the upwards, it should be finally it should be reached the high levels. It should be formed a tiny droplets. But these tiny droplets it should be floating in air. Okay, so at higher levels in the atmosphere, so we have to appear as a cloud. We have to appear as a cloud, students. Okay, now students, this is explanation about clouds. How clouds are formed in the sky. Okay, now students, and next activity 2 also there. Clouds in kitchen. Even we can see in a kitchen also. But how it is possible in a clouds in kitchen? Okay, now students. Now activity 2. Now, clouds in kitchen, students. Here, so my dear students, what we have to do? First of all, we are taking a vessel and even stove also. And take one vessel and pour some water in the vessel. So that vessel, you should keep it on the stove. And you should supply a heat to the vessel. You should supply a heat to the vessel. And but when the vessel is, keep it on the stove, but you should cover it with a plate on the surface of the vessel. Then after, when heat is supplied to the vessel, but because of inside the vessel, which is there, students, water. The water is started to boiling. If heat is supplying continuously, it should be started evaporation process. But the smoke is coming from the vessel and it should be touched to the surface of the plate. And whenever you can remove the plate outside, you can turn the plate. Number of tiny droplets are formed on the plate. It should be total covered. That small tiny droplets are covered completely in that plate. Those are tiny droplets, students. Those are tiny droplets, students. Yes or no? So here we know the water vapor helps to form clouds. Water vapor helps to form clouds, students. Okay, now students, my dear. So whatever the topics today I explained to you, I think you understood very clearly. Even you open the textbook and make it underlines which are important points in your textbook and write down in your notebook also, students. Okay, now students, we will meet in the next class. Okay, na? Bye, students.